The Jim and Terry Show, coming to you again from the Hobbit Hole Studio in Bob Cage's sunny and stinking, melting humidity.
I love summer and it's killing me. Reminds me of the Tragically Hip song.
I love summer and
Summer's
it's
killing us. I think that's what it's called. Summer is killing us. I think it was a song about probably go on tour in summer, and that I think that's what the song's about. Our audience, the hordes of you, write in and let me know what song that is.
Wigmore Allen Gibbons has a summer song called Summer Haze, the hazy days of summer. Used to be a good thing.
You know what I
But
miss?
now with global warming and forest fires in Canada is lit up on the map. You could see satellite images of Canada. We're on fire for you, baby.
I think people would be blown away in other countries how hot it can actually get in this country.
We are a land of extremes, extreme heat in the summer and extreme cold in the winter.
Yeah.
Does it make for a mellow people or an extreme population?
Probably divided. No, I can't stand winter, but if summer's going to do this to me, like maybe I'm the one who has
Well, you're
to
having
go
trouble breathing, is that right?
Yeah.
No walks for you.
Well, I've been going on the walks anyways, but I'm pretty dragged out. And I found if I put effort out, because I have EDD, effort deficit disorder, if I put effort out, it really, really...
They have pills for that, Jim.
Well, I think I might have...
For ED.
had something. I don't know if it's just exhaustion from lack of sleep but this last couple of weeks, ever since the last few weeks, I've been really kind of blah, And when I arrived here, I was surprised. I had a nice listen to the radio coming here, got out of my car and went, you saw me, you said, stand up or something. Jeez, you look like a little hobbit.
Yeah, you were kind of stooped over and not quite wobbling, but kind of. Well, are you going to make it or not?
Yeah, and I think my eyes are doing me in a bit. Hopefully, I got a specialist coming up. So
is vertigo still a problem for you?
Vertigo's happened to me a couple of times since the bad one that I thought I was going to die, but I found a way to remedy it. So one happened. It lasted about half an hour. And I just plugged my nose and blew air and took deep breaths.
What you're trying to do is equalize your eardrums because it is an inner ear problem.
As soon as it came upon me, I did the same thing, plugged my nose.
And it seemed to work.
Right away, almost.
Wow.
So, yeah. But the first vertigo took weeks again. I was still staggering at Christmas, and, people looked like I was drunk. I was just...
That's an awful feeling when the world is spinning.
Well, when it hits you as hard as it hits you, you're going to throw up, regardless of where you are, you're going to start throwing up and everything else. But that wasn't what the show was going to be about.
No, actually it was. When the world is spinning around you, we're going to jump on that phrase and say, okay, so the question is, how do you discern truth or fact from fiction when the world is spinning around you? Spinning meaning a whole bunch of opinions are being circulated in the media sphere, and people in their own little silos of information, your own little community, whether it's Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, or whether it's left-wing, right-wing, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, New Democratic, whatever those little things that we build our communities on. Stuff spins. You press like, share, you click and share stuff. You may not have even read the article. If I go to Twitter and I like something and I go to share it, it always asks me the question, would you like to read the article that was referenced? Of course I would. So I do. But it's interesting to me that sometimes you click on something, and maybe this will go into another conversation, but on media and Canadian media, because Canada is now being... news from Canada is being limited or removed from Meta.
What's that?
What is Meta? Facebook.
What? Facebook?
Yeah, that's the new name for Facebook. Meta.
Oh, okay. No.
Now, Google has the same issue with Canada, which is that we are asking that they pay for the news, the verified, certified news. And they refuse to do that, so Canada is putting pressure on them to do that. In retaliation, Zuckerberg has said, screw you. And they're not going to forward any news about Canada on Facebook.
Interesting.
So we got a meta battle.
A meta battle. I've heard of mega battles.
Well, my question is now so if you get your news from a Facebook group, have you heard? Well, there's something wrong with you if you're getting your news from a Facebook group or any social media group that you belong to. You should be checking it out from verified journalists who have some experience in discernment. And that's where I'm going with this.
And you know that those who aren't going to do that think you're just they're full of it.
Well, who has the time was one comment that came back to me because something was brought to my attention and said, I'll look into it. And I do look into stuff when it's brought to my attention.
But if your response is who has the time and you're an opinionated person.
The bad combination.
Your bad combination. You should then not be forwarding anything.
Yeah.
If you don't have time.
Right.
Because there is all kinds of ideas out there. And anybody who forwards something to me, I try to look at it. Some of it I go, okay, I can see why you think that way. Some of it I can shoot some holes into it, not all holes into it. And this is whether it's from you or whether it's from somebody else. I look at it, and I can only go so far because my condition. But I look at it, and I'll go, well, yeah, but this, and yeah, but that. But I'm trying to go down the middle. I'm trying to understand why each side feels the way in which I look like that doctor. Each side feels.
Dr. Susan Oliver.
Yeah, my hands are flying here, folks. I try to go down the middle a bit. And the one thing I'm really trying now is to not care so much about stuff.
Yeah, I'm okay with.
It's going to happen anyways, too.
Well, we're not going to care about stuff. My dad used to always say, "Don't accentuate the negatives.
Yeah.
Eliminate the negatives. Accentuate the positives. Focus on the good." So you're right. We should. Use our time wisely. It is a limited opportunity, this life that we have. So, yeah, spend it wisely. Part of me is geared towards investigation and CSI type of stuff. I do like conspiracy theories, like yourself. I, like yourself, follow few of them. But I'm aware of a lot of them.
Yeah, something comes my way, I'll listen to it, look at it. Some of it I just go, this is the same old crap I've heard 1,000 times.
It's the Sphinx on Mars that got me.
Yeah. It just keeps going and going. But I do like it. And one of these ones we have to have a space update, I think, because we wanted to talk about aliens. Even though I have nothing really new to add, other than apparently this month, July, there's supposed to be a major announcement, isn't there?
You're expecting that. I think you alluded to it in last week's series of podcasts that there's some big announcement coming. Wait for it. Yeah, but you and I can wait for it without buying into it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't even know if you can believe anything you see these days. So, even if a spaceship landed, how do you know it's real? You know what I mean? But we didn't want to get into aliens in this particular
just
one.
Using the simple word, how do people sort out news? Because it's all spinning around us. Yeah. And how do we, the Jim and Terrys of the world, our ones and twos who listen and follow us, how do we normal, average, everyday Canadians sort it all out?
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I like some of the episodes on various things where they have a truth account or checking the facts, and they bring up alternative facts, that's not exactly how it went down, right? But we talked about RFK, and we talked about, he'll be talking mostly to the people that are 40 and under, maybe 50 and
already
under.
Convinced.
And, well, they don't know the history of things, and that's not because they're stupid. There's just too much other stuff to do. And so he'll talk to them with this factual voice and factual everything, like the advancement of NATO, which is independent democracies joining an organization because they value the safety of numbers.
Okay, so
nobody's taking over anybody.
Are you saying that history is important as a context to understanding the information that is spun around us?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're not interested in history...
If you're not aware of the Soviet Union and what they did to all the Baltic states and everything, if you're not aware of that, then you're saying, oh, Putin, he's not such a bad guy. No, he's flat out evil, folks, if you want to know the real truth. And you see what he did to other countries. And now they're threatening to blow up their nuclear plant. No, Ukraine's not going to blow up their own nuclear plant because that would be devastating to their nation. If it blows up, it's Russia blew that plant up. But if you don't know the history of what went on when they took over Ukraine, where Thomas is from,
Lithuania,
no,
Latvia, Estonia.
All of those when they came in March, they just took over, and made them be subject to the Soviet Union.
Right.
That's what they did. And if you think they were just going to go into Ukraine and take those southeastern 4 states and that's it, you're fooling yourself. Mm-hmm. They don't work that way. No. They keep going.
See, knowing the USSR and their expansionism and the taking over of the Baltic states, that was important because that's why these countries want protection, guaranteed. Yeah. Once you've been under the iron fist of the Russians, you don't want to go back.
Yeah, they needed help then and they couldn't get it.
Yep.
Now they need help and they've got it.
Yep.
In other words, you take on one of these NATO countries, you're taking on NATO. And that's not because we're one country. They're individual democratic countries that belong to NATO.
All right.
Please try to understand.
Our theory is not NATO. Our theory is how do you tell and discern fact from fiction? So we have these conflicting views. NATO caused the war in Ukraine. NATO forced Putin to invade Russia is one. The other side is, no, Putin decided what he was going to do and he did it anyway.
Well,
so how do you decide which one is right?
And this one is, the West wouldn't negotiate with Putin. Well,
that's right.
If Putin say, I'm taking over the country, well, there's no negotiation with that. No, you're not taking over the country.
That's right.
It's one or the other, right? So it's words and little words, and I don't respect people who play with that in order to advance their own agenda. I don't respect it.
Discerning the truth when the world is spinning. The Jim and Terry Show. Bye-bye for now.
Stop